All right, we're getting started with the coaching session. How has it been getting into the first year after all the holiday madness? You guys getting back on track with your who's got their business plan finished? Anybody? Everybody? Mine's finished.
Budget's a little version 6. I got the budget. That was
Yeah. Any questions? About how to set it? You know, some people have had it set. I don't know what my expectations should be. I don't know what I should go for a goal. I always say, you know, some school thoughts are, you know, set it some realistic expectations to not disappoint yourself. I've always believed, and it kind of further was one of the audiobooks I'm listening to. Is anybody listen to Grant Cardone, the 10X? It's a good audiobook. I got it on Audible, but he's always like, you know, shoot for the stars. You know, if you land at the moon, are you still going to be happy? Probably. So, you know, just set a goal. Say, hey, you know, I don't know if it's possible, but let's go for 100. If you set it for 60 and hit 40, you're probably not going to be happy. If you set it for 100 and hit 60, you're probably going to be pretty happy. So just pick a goal and go for it. The bigger thing I really want to talk about today, because even more important than the business plan, although the business plan is important in setting your actions and what you do on a week-to-week basis should be revolved around the business plan that you've created, is what are going to be your weekly actions? What are the habits you need to be doing every single week? If you want to pass those around. So these are the set versions. If you want me to go into your grab a piece of paper. If you want me to go into your pipeline and add it, it's probably not in your pipeline now, but I'm adding it between right after my pipeline is the action sheet and the perfect week. If you want me to add it in there so you can type it out, let me know, and I'll go into your spreadsheet and add it. To what, yours? Okay.
Yeah, add it to mine.
Okay.
I missed the whole conversation. Just add it.
So on your pipeline, I'll just add it to everybody that's here.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Everything.
That's easier.
Just do it.
That's easier. So we'll add these sheets in, and really what you want to do is you want to figure out, if I did these things consistently, am I going to see a lot better results than I've seen in the last year? And you're probably going to find after you kind of start this activity that there's a lot of things that you weren't consistent with in 2018 that you need to become more consistent with. So you want to start thinking about it for what would if there was a certain set of things that I did every week that would lead me to my goal or lead me to a lot better results than I've seen in the last year, what would those actions be? So who's got some thoughts on what should be going in there? First of all, before you even have your weekly, your perfect week actions, is you should have in here what your whys are. Why is this important?
So we know, kind of have a direction of why we're excited to meet those goals. What's driving us?
Right, exactly. You want to every day remind yourself of why do I want to achieve something bigger than I've achieved in the past? Anybody know why you need to look at that every day?
Focus on what you know.
Exactly. Because the only real pressure we have is our bills. And we always seem to find a way to just pay enough, make enough to at least pay the bills. But taking that action to put yourself at double what you need right now based on what your living expenses are, it takes focus, and it takes realizing and keeping in mind what your whys are and why you want to put yourself in even more uncomfortable situations. Because let's face it, for most of us, you know, creating new relationships, cold calling, meeting new people at open houses, all those things until we've built a relationship are not always that comfortable. It's probably the most uncomfortable thing we do in this business. Yeah, as you guys know, it's like you're uncomfortable, all of a sudden you have a good conversation with somebody like, oh, I don't know why I thought that was going to be so hard. Now I have a good relationship with this person. But I think it's because we're picking up the phone thinking, oh man, someone's going to yell at me today. Someone's going to give me a hard no, and it's going to discourage me. And so, you know, we need to focus on our whys and our dreams so that we can, stay focused and make sure we're doing the perfect week stuff that we need to do. So what are your whys, and then what are some of the dreams that you want to make a reality in 2019 so that you can keep those focused. So we all have big dreams, like, oh, within a few years I want to do this, or so those things are so far in the distance sometimes that we feel like we have plenty of time to get that done. And why do I need to work that hard at it now? It's a few years down the road. In March I'll get started. You know what I mean? It's how we think. It's like, oh, it's fine. That's a ways out. Like even if it's personal, like, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds this year. Yeah, well, it's winter. It's kind of hibernation period. So let me just eat like a jerk for the next 2 months, and then I'll start. Then I'll start in March. That's the way we think. It's just the way we're built. We don't want change. Our minds don't want change. So we have to really focus on creating new habits, or our mind's just going to go back to the old habits. Even sometimes you go through periods where you do break a good habit, and it's not easy to get back on the good habits. I gained probably 15 pounds in the last 3 months. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get back into good habits. I used to love going to the gym, and now, like, it's starting to get a little better the first 2 weeks. But the first time I went back after being out for 3 weeks, I'm like, oh, this sucks. I hate working out. I hate this. Can't stand it. Why am I here?
You signed up with Impact Fitness.
Yeah, we signed up a week ago. We haven't been there, but we got the membership.
The getting started is the hardest part. It's with anything. It's the same thing with calling. You may put in this perfect week schedule that I need to make 7 calls a day to people from my sphere and or sync. I got to find 7 people I can call each day. That's going to be uncomfortable for the first few days. You're gonna have trip ups. You're gonna have days you say F it. You're gonna have days that you do it. But the longer you look at it, just like your pipeline, I've told you guys from the beginning, if you're looking at this pipeline every day, if it's screaming zeros at you, it's gonna make you probably do something. It's just like if you show up at the gym, you're not gonna do nothing. You're gonna do something. It may not be the most productive day at the gym, but you're not gonna just go there and look at it and say, "No, I'm done," and walk out. Got in the treadmill for 5 minutes and left. You're going to get something done. You're going to have more productive days than others and more productive times than others. But the reality is, if you're looking at it every day, then you're more likely to do it. And that's why I wanted to add to this sheet the whys and the short-term dreams, so that you really have an opportunity to be those things to be staring you in the face every day. Because oftentimes we write down our whys when we do a business plan. And I would also take that business plan and make sure it's somewhere you look at it, if not every day, every week, so that you constantly are looking at it. It's in your face, because if it goes out into the back end and you don't see it every day, then you're just going to push it aside, and that's going to be your excuse. Like, oh well, it wasn't punching me in the face, so I didn't get to it this week. So, what are some of the perfect week actions that you guys feel you need to be taking in 2019 to reach your goals?
Training
is a good one.
Take time to go to training every day, or at least a couple hours a week.
Training is a good one. There's never a shortage of learning, and
especially with
technology,
basic aspects of different bank loans and whatever.
Yeah,
you kind of mentioned, like, that's just I still have a lot of learning to do.
Yeah.
So
in the past,
accessory or something.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sometimes people ask me a question, I'm like, Jesus, I should know this. I just kind of write it down. I'll get back to you.
You don't know what you don't even know yet.
No,
exactly. Worse.
That's
stumble on all sorts of stuff that you don't know.
Seek out as much knowledge as you can. You can never have enough. I still learn something new every day. And now it's not. In today's age of real estate, it's not just enough to be knowledgeable in real estate and the doing of real estate. You have to be knowledgeable in technology and marketing now if you're going to take control of your life and your commissions, and not let some other company like Real.com take complete control of your future. It's important to start to learn how to do those things and be well-rounded and be a good marketer and a good agent at the same time, and be growing every day. That's a good one. Who else has got
one? I put down post on social media every day with relevant info, just to kind of keep your name out there. So people are seeing that you're doing. So everyone knows like what you do, even though people might know, they might forget. You know what I mean? Or they just don't think of it. someone else posted something that's they're friends with, so you know, they're gonna be like, oh, I'll just go with them because they're always posting something. They must be used to
Yeah,
it.
I-
Real estate, or you still do that?
One thing you definitely have to keep in mind is like when you post every day, you think of it like, oh, I'm bothering the crap out of everybody. But the reality is probably 99% of the people aren't on Facebook as much as we are because we're in the business. And not everybody's seeing every post every day. Not everybody spends hours scrolling through the newsfeed to see what everyone they know posted every day. So even if you post something every day, it's not going to bother the hell out of people.
Only got 3 likes, you bastards.
Don't focus
You know.
on the likes.
And it's weird. You'll never know why, but some things get more likes than others. Usually your non-real estate related posts are going to get something more likes than
Yep.
your real estate related posts. The stuff about family, if you can find something humorous to post. I like the lighter side of real estate is a good page to follow. They've got some funny stuff you can share and find other sources to share. But yeah, something every day, that's a good one. But at
I
least
mean,
it's keeping your name and
even if they're not liking it, they're still seeing it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean, you're still
That's
top
true.
of mind. They're still scrolling through. Oh yeah, he's doing
You-
something in real estate.
Like,
you know?
when I find somebody new that I want to do business with or whatever, I want to eat, I just go online to make sure they've been around for more than 6 days. You know,
Right.
It's the vetting process.
Right,
Everyone said
absolutely.
that in the beginning, but you just
Yeah.
go online real quick. Do they have 1 review or do they have 20 reviews? You know,
That's why I don't know when you guys post if you choose friends only or public, meaning the little globe button. But if you do want certain things to only be seen privately to your friend group, that's fine. But make sure that when you're posting some stuff, especially the real estate related stuff, that it's public posts, because that allows someone that's not connected to you to be able to vet you on Google. If they type in your name and they find your Facebook page, they're not going to, if everything you post is private, then they're not going to see anything about you. So just make sure they are public. But that is a good one, just to stay top of mind awareness to people. And think about your Facebook page as, you know, it is a fake world. It should be called Fake Book, honestly, because most
Yeah.
people are fake. But it is kind of, you're building the image of whatever your reality is behind the scenes. If people are going to make decisions based on what they see on Facebook, make sure when they look you up, they see what you want them to see. A professional that knows his business, knowledgeable, but also a people person, enjoys, you know, friends and family and their pet or whatever, you know, that there's a personal side, a friendly side, because people a lot of times make decisions based on, if they meet you, they make decisions whether they like you. Online, I think it's more of a mix of, are they good at what they do and can I like them? Does that make sense? What else? What else would go in there?
I put making at least 70 plus calls per week, 10 per day.
I like that one.
You know,
And
at least-
that could be a combination of, you know, just don't make sure those aren't making sure my deal is going good calls. Those are,
like new calls.
yeah, those are either new calls or follow calls. You know, it could be a combination of both. Something, you know, putting it down a goal like that, make sure that you're going to be proactive about your business. How can I try to keep people that are in my prospective section of my pipeline moving into active? How can I keep the active section moving into under agreement? Definitely, that's a good one. What else?
For me personally, be at least, you know, doing out 25 houses for that week. At least.
it's prospecting. I would
Yeah.
devote 2 hours. I've got 2 hours a day.
I would just do, can't, for me, I just do
2 hours per day?
Yeah, but I broke it up. I do it morning and afternoon.
Okay.
An hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon. Just because people call everybody at the same time, 9:30 every day, and keep getting no answer.
Right.
Breaking time bed.
Right.
So
That's good.
try to mark down the time I call people as well.
Okay. That's a good one. What else?
Lunch.
Lunch?
They take time out.
That's true.
Stay, get away from the computer.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one of them could be limiting Facebook to a certain amount of time. You know, if you want to be productive, scrolling through Facebook all day long is not the most productive work.
It's hard to get out of that habit too.
I
Like
know.
just, I mindless, just looking at the same stupid shit.
Yeah, I catch myself like that too. You're scrolling, and then you're like, what am I doing?
Yes, you feel you like have to snap out of it.
he's done something. He's captured us. I mean, he's given us a pretty damn good opportunity
You see
to.
someone's post and you
to
look
make
at the
money.
comments and you get trapped in the comments.
Yeah, don't ever go down that rabbit hole. That is scary stuff down there.
Yeah.
You start replying to people's comments, then
Yeah,
people don't even know.
No, this is one that I would recommend you put on here, and it's more of an affirmation, but it's a goal. Go on a certain number of buyer appointments, or take out. Take out 4 different buyers every week.
yeah.
You've got 4
Sure,
people
that's
out,
fine.
4 to 5 people out there looking, and obviously, I think I would rather see you, and it's totally up to you. You could do it number of homes shown per week. I like different number of buyers because then if it's not really going to lead you to closing 3 deals a month if you're taking one buyer out all the time and showing them 20 houses. You need to be working with 4 to 5 solid, active, really active buyers every week. And that doesn't mean all 4 are going to see homes every single week. It might be working with 10 buyers and there's only homes to show 4 or 5 of those buyers to homes every week, but it's a good goal. If you hit that, you know that, hey, something's continuously happening. If I have weeks where I'm not taking buyers out, then that's not good. Either I need to be working with them on their expectations or, seeing if I can find other opportunities for them that maybe they're not looking at. And that gets you in the mindset of proactive selling versus reactive selling. And it's literally probably one of the biggest mistakes I see most agents make, because just waiting and sitting back and waiting for buyers to say, oh, I found another house I want to see. Okay, let me know when you see another one. Certainly that's going to occasionally happen, but it should be more on the other side. Like, hey, what do you think about this house? What do you think about this house? You said you want to buy in the next 3 months. We should be out looking at houses every week. And that should be the expectation. If they're not, then maybe they're not that serious and you can focus your time on somebody else. But just having buyers in there saying, they haven't found anything yet isn't really driving your business, if that makes sense. What else might you be? If you're looking for listings, it might be going out on 2 listing presentations per week. One of mine is meeting with 3 new agents every week, whether it's an experienced or a new agent is meeting with 3 agents every week. I'm thinking about that now for next week. Like, okay, I've got 3 this week. What am I doing this week to make sure I have 3 for next week? And if you're getting in that mindset, it really helps you during your prospecting time because all right, I'm making my calls because I got to get some more buyers out there looking at houses next week. Or I got to get a listing appointment for next week or whatever it may be. It's helping you, get through that week. And look, when you build this perfect week, I'm not asking you to build it so you 100% of the time hit it every single week. That's never realistic. The goal is to try to get there, and some weeks you're going to hit that perfect week, and some weeks you're going to fall off, and you're going to have 1 listing appointment, or you're going to take out 2 different buyers, but you're still working towards getting to that point to where you're hitting the number of people think you need to be working with to achieve your goals. So start thinking about it from that perspective. What else? If you're tying it into your summary sheet, maybe there's some things that are built around these categories that you put into your perfect week. We already talked about number of outbound calls. Maybe it's, hey, I need to capture this number of leads per week. So that would be running a certain number of ads per week to make sure that I hit a certain number of goals of leads coming into my sync platform every week. You could put on the perfect week that I want 10 new leads every week in my sync database. And then you work towards trying to figure out how to make that happen. Total number of contacts in sync. Maybe one of your goals would be to add 10 new people to sync every week. It could be, again, we talk about the power of sync and how, even if you're just adding people you collect business cards for, or you all of a sudden you have a conversation with an old friend and you forgot you have their email address in your contact database and they're not in sync. Add them into sync because you can put them on the long-term drip campaigns at that point. And the other thing we talked about that we're going to be showing you guys how to do in the marketing is everybody you have in your sync, you can advertise to in Facebook. You can download your sync list and advertise to just that group of people in Sync and have a better chance of converting them. So the more people we have in the Sync database, the better off we're going to be. So one of the ones you definitely should put on the perfect week is a number of maybe it's 20. Add 20 new contacts to Sync every week. That could be a combination of new leads coming in. It could be a combination of let's say your goal is to get 10 new leads per week, but that's only 10. That gives you 10 new contacts in Sync, and then another 10 are just, you're prospecting, thinking, all right, who can I talk to? Who can I add to my system? Maybe you're having phone conversations with people you don't have an email address for, and you're just saying, oh yeah, by the way, what's your email address, just so I can, make sure you're on my long-term follow-up campaign. Most people that know of you and are kind of friends with you, they're gonna give you that information. So maybe that's a good one you add to your perfect week.
Well, I got one from my MLS. It goes back towards the buyers. Adding a certain amount, X amount of buyers to your MLS search. So I put all my buyers in there.
Okay.
What I like about that, I have them all set up. They get their daily reports every morning. What's available in their area, in their price range, their specific criteria. And I can see how many times they visited.
Right.
A total, and I can see how many times they visited during a week. So the guys that are 2, 3, 4 times a week, I make sure and I call them. I say, hey, are you interested? And
Right.
make some appointments to see that. I get all of my people in
Okay.
my MLS search.
Do you also have them in Sync?
I have most of them in Sync, I believe.
Okay.
But you can see all that stuff in Sync too.
Can you?
The graph of how
Right.
often they
It's
log
not
in
rough, but you
and
can
the
actually
copies.
look them up and see.
Because
Yeah, you can
I
see.
filter by who logged in last
Yeah.
on Sync.
I mean, it also depends on how you want to
But
organize your business.
And if I see them that they're not, I start calling them as well. I'm saying, you're getting some good quality leads and some homes, and I see that you're not opening your emails. Is there a problem, or
Right.
So I think that's, for me, that works.
Yeah, you
I
got to
have-
figure out what works for you. Some people do like doing that. They like separating Sync as Sync is the incubator,
Yeah.
and then when they get a really solid client that
That's
they're
what I
working
do.
with, then they
Put it
move
in
them into
MLS.
MLS. And
Yeah, set them up on the campaign, and they get the updates every single morning. To their
so,
criteria.
I mean, Sync will do all that too, but it's again what you're comfortable with. There's a million different ways to get the job done. It's just what you're most comfortable with. Maybe one of your perfect week things, again, revolving around the summer sheet that we have, is adding 20 new Facebook connections. It's so easy with the friend finder and the suggestions to find new people to connect to every week. There's no reason all of us shouldn't be adding new connections every single week, because again, most people are just going to accept, and now they become part of somebody will see your posts,
Now,
see your
well,
advertisements.
say somebody has 5,000 friends on Facebook. You post something, if you put it to public, eventually will everybody see it, or is it just
No.
going to go back to the algorithm? Where
It's the algorithm of who you're most,
So then why even bother having?
because you
No.
can advertise to them.
Oh, that's true. Like boost it right to them.
Yeah.
Even through your personal page,
Well, I mean,
You can't boost
No.
your personal
it
page.
has to be on your business page.
But then you-
probably with that reasoning, it may make more sense to start with making sure. That's another reason. Probably adding LinkedIn is a big
You're
one.
doing a good job on LinkedIn.
So
I'm doing
LinkedIn,
very well on
adding
Facebook.
so maybe it's adding 20 LinkedIn
Business
connections. But the good thing about LinkedIn is every once in a while we can export your list from LinkedIn, add it into Sync. Now you can then take the list out of Sync, or you could take the list that you exported from LinkedIn, and you can advertise to them on Facebook. So now they're going to see you on LinkedIn and Facebook. So it's definitely worth it. But the other reason you still want to connect to as many people as possible is the example of that I did with you, where I tagged you in the post from the website. We shared the log cabin. I think it was the last session we were in. We shared the log cabin over the Facebook. I tagged you in it, and one of your friend connections clicked on it and registered. Now what do you have because they registered on Sync? Now you have because they registered with a Facebook connection, it gives us their name, their phone number, and their email address. Now you have an email address and you have a name that you can advertise to on Facebook.
Yeah.
So even though they're not gonna, that girl, whoever she was, even though she didn't see you, she might not see every post you post. Now for very low dollars, you can make sure that you're in front of her. So it's never, I don't see it ever as a bad thing adding more connections on Facebook.
Yeah, I get requests all the time. Yeah, we're in Jacksonville, Florida now.
Well, if you're not a national, that I would say there's no reason to add.
Or if I'll go on and I'll kind of creep on and see, okay, the last post was last year, they're never
Right.
on it, there's no point.
Right. And who's to say you don't know how far it can go? Well, so let's say all of a sudden you see someone in Auburn and you're like, I don't really know who this is, but we have some common friends, I'm going to connect. And then next thing you know, either they do see one of your ads, either through your free ad, or let's say you're posting and boosting an ad locally and they see it in their news feed because you just boosted an ad. Now they say, oh, I've seen Jeff before. Oh, I'm friends with Jeff. Or if someone, for instance, that all of a sudden you get a home evaluation and they go search you, they're on Facebook and they go search you. Let's see what Jeff Brooks is about. And they say you have a common connection because you're friends with this person. Now they might be more likely to answer the call. It's all the behind the scenes stuff that you don't even really think about or realize that can have a positive impact on why you would want to connect with as many people as possible. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. That's what I do with LinkedIn.
But LinkedIn is definitely one that we shouldn't disregard because it has the power of exporting that list and putting it into sync. So, all right. Anything else that people think they should be putting in their perfect week? I mean, we're talking about business, but if there's something in your perfect week that is personal to you, working out a certain number of days per week, or keeping on a certain eating schedule every week, or having, eating well 5 days a week and having 2 splurge days. I don't know what it is, but I want you to, this is for you. This is for you and your purposes only. I want it to work for you. I want it, whatever these are habits. These are new habits you need to form. Some of them you may be doing all along and you said, all right, this is stuff I need to keep up, but I bet most of us are going to find there's definitely some new habits we need to be forging that we do on a week-to-week basis. Because if we do them just every once in a while, it's just not going to stick. The other one that is commonly forgotten in this business is either sending handwritten notes or doing a certain number of mailers per month to your sphere or some group of mailers. The mailers always get pushed aside. They don't scream us in the face. We're on Facebook. That reminds us of advertising and working. We see leads coming through Sync. That reminds us kind of to stay on track with that. The stuff that always gets really pushed aside is the stuff like the mailers or just writing handwritten notes.
Or you run out of stamps.
Or you run out of stamps. Oh, I got stamps. Or you run out of stamps, but handwritten notes are so effective. How many of you are, like, for instance, if you guys are getting seller leads, are you guys, whether you talk to them or not, sending them a mailer with a handwritten note?
So what I've been doing is when it comes up, basically with the home evaluation, they're obviously requesting a market analysis.
Correct.
So I'll do a rough market analysis and go hand deliver that.
Oh,
And
okay.
go knock on their door and hopefully catch them at home and talk to them.
Okay. If they're
If not,
home.
I leave it with the whole thing there, my card in there, and then goes to, if I can find their number through
Cold directory.
the cold source directory, I'll do that. If not, I'll just go back and hopefully catch them again at some point.
Okay.
Like my neighbor did one, so I went over there the other day, and my Millbury, everybody's bitching about Millbury's taxes going up.
Oh yeah.
Apparently they just did it to see where their house stood, but I ended up talking to them for a solid 15 minutes.
Okay.
While she waited in the car. We were going to get our daughter, and she's like texting me, "We gotta go,"
Everything all right
because they
up
wouldn't.
there?
They just kept talking and
I'll be
talking and
back for
talking.
you.
And I
I
can't.
almost left him there because I was like, he can walk.
I can't leave, But
Right.
it was a good conversation. They've been there since the house was built, and they don't plan on going anywhere. But at least now they know that I live in the neighborhood.
Right.
I'm a realtor.
Right.
And I was like, if you have any questions about it, let me know. I live right around the corner.
All right. Good.
So, but
Good.
that's somebody that would get put on a mailing list.
Okay.
And
And I would even not overlook the handwritten notes. Even if you wrote a bunch of them that said, "Sorry, I missed you. I would look forward to talking to you and helping you with the valuing your home."
Mhm.
Even though you might have it typed, I just think the handwritten note thing is a lost art, and it's an effective art. I don't know how many times you get, if you've ever gotten a handwritten note, or even when you think about it, when you get a card that someone wrote out.
Makes you feel warm and cozy.
It does. It does. So consider that. So maybe you have a goal of writing 10 handwritten notes, and they don't have to be business related. They don't have to all be business related. It could be like, it's a thank you for a referral, or hey, it was nice meeting with you last week to talk, just to catch up. Could
Before
be-
I forget.
yeah.
Kind of a little unrelated. You said you were getting the trifolds for the luxury. Are you still doing that?
For the luxury.
Homes? The higher-end
We've got
homes?
the design made. You just have to decide that you want to do it, and Amy can finish the
Definitely.
design to you,
Yeah.
and then order them. So, yeah, we've got the luxury. So
Because I'm going to start with more east.
I do recommend that for 2019. If you can't afford it right now, it's $150 for 100 of them. Amy will finish the design out to you, and you can do a personal promotion piece. I've got examples.
So those trifolds.
Yeah, the trifolds. Personal promotion piece. It could be a town-focused piece if you really want to hone in on a town. I think everybody should have the personal promotion piece because it's good for buyers and sellers. It's got the seller services, buyer services on it. It's got you. It's got any testimonials you've had. If you want to add recent sales to it, and then all your preferred vendors. And that is a good starter piece to say, what any new client I meet, hey, here's a package of information. That's why anytime you guys meet with a new buyer or two that you've never met with before, if you don't go in there with a nice package, I think you're missing the boat. You should show up with not just copies of the listing sheet, but here's a package of information. Here's a personal piece. If I have a personal piece, here's the listing sheet. Here's what the offer forms look like. Here's the copy of agency disclosure. Home buying guide. We have some home buying guides, or you can just pull them off the internet. If any articles you've seen, or go on National Association of Realtors and find some articles why renting over owning, whatever it is. Just they may never ever look at it, but the fact that you just showed up with a professional package for them, where most agents wouldn't, it's a big factor. So yeah, definitely want to have something. So you can do a town piece. You have a luxury driven piece if you want to go after luxury homes. So we can make it whatever you want. You just have to decide, yeah, I want to do it. Get the template from Amy, fill out the template for everything you want to do on it, and then she'll design it, run it by you. How does it look? And then from there, just she'll get them ordered, and they'll come in.
So does she have the same email address, or is it she?
It's was it Lux Marketing? Let me get this.
What is the relationship there now? She's still anytime we
She's doing the marketing.
Yeah, she's doing the marketing anytime we need the marketing. She's still handling all the postcards and anything else you want to do with that.
Because I did a bunch of my first round mailers to cancel and expires out east. I like to door knock and leave the trifold in there,
Absolutely.
in their door. Be mine.
If you left that with a nice little handwritten note, like "Sorry, I missed you.
Yeah.
Look forward to talking to you soon." That would be a definitely good piece. Let's see. I'll find. I think it's luxmarketing@gmail, but let me find it. It is luxgrp marketing @gmail.com. So luxgrp marketing @gmail.com. So anything you want to have done, email her. She'll send you the template. If it's a trifold busher, you just have to basically fill out the template. I'll give you guys all the ones I have. You just have to look at it and say, okay, I want this changed. I want this changed. Here's my picture. Here's my information. And
Yeah, I know exactly.
yeah, she'll just get it done and get it ready for you. So, all right. We talked about this stuff. Any other things that you want to do? If you're looking to promote buyer business, maybe it doesn't it's not every week, but maybe every twice a month, host open houses for somebody, whether it's my listings or somebody else's listings. There's still, I mean, it's a little slower this time of year, but there's still a great opportunity to meet new buyers. And to me, if you're going to work on a Sunday and you go to an open house, I always, was the opinion, the only reason it's a waste of time is if you make it a waste of time. So if you go there and you run an open house and no one shows up, what would you be doing with those 2 hours while you're sitting there? Hopefully not nothing, but have a prospecting list with you. Sunday afternoon is a great time to call. Have a list of 10 calls you can make during the open house if it's slow. Read through your business plan. Bring your business plan with you. Whatever it is, just do something while you're sitting there, as opposed to just saying, "Oh, I just wasted 2 hours of my life and nothing happened." Make it a positive no matter what, and it's worth it. So, hosting open houses is a good one.
I was going to other people's open houses and handing out your business card.
Good question.
Seems a little unethical.
No, it was a joke. It was a joke.
That is, yeah.
That was a joke.
Well, I have one across the street from me. Keeps having open houses, and I'm like, what can I do? Can I just go walk around and be like, hey?
Right.
Stand on the corner, put up a sign.
Yeah.
On your property.
How about
Yeah, really?
like,
Put a sign in front of your house, buying a house, call me.
don't use that in selling.
Yeah, you can't sell this.
All right. How many of you have gone and listened and seen like where the sign-in sheet is? They have like business cards and stuff, like people read business cards. That's not seen as being obtrusive, and you'd be surprised. It's worth leaving a business card there. You write out that I was here, and you leave a business card. It's like standard practice. And what do you think the seller's doing with those business cards? The agent's not going there after the show and grabbing them. The seller's grabbing them. So who's to say you don't have a nice business card and all of a sudden they're not happy with their realtor and they're rifling through the business cards? Who should I call to talk to about the fact that I'm thinking about canceling my listing? Right? Kim just got some great ones. They look awesome. Where'd you get those?
Can I see? Do you have one?
I have them in the car. I'll bring one in.
Always have business cards on you. Maybe one of your weekly action plans is to hand out 10 business cards.
I will bring my person, but
I'm looking to get some. I haven't even done it.
From a mindset perspective, you all should leave your house every day thinking there's a world of opportunities out here, and I just have to take advantage of it. It might be someone you start having a chit chat with in the grocery line. It could be, someone that you're, overhearing at, whatever. You know how many conversations I hear at Panera about real estate? And maybe you're not to the point where you're ready to say, I was eavesdropping and I heard you talking about real estate. But if you had a computer and it had your, a sticker on it, right? Think about how you're branding yourself when you're just out there in public. Sometimes we want to be private and we don't want to have our realtor hats on and we want to go out in our sweatpants and do our thing. That's fine. But then there's other times you might say, well, if I'm going to go out there in the world, I want to make sure I'm either wearing a name tag or wearing a shirt, something, so that in case there is an opportunity and someone just says, "Oh, hey, what's Lux Group?" That's why, like, some people have said, "Why didn't I put real estate on the hats?" But I've had people ask me, "What's Lux Group?" If they saw real estate, what might they think if they saw real estate?
This guy.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm not going to look at this guy. He's another realtor. So, maybe you don't go that far. Maybe even your name tag just has Lux Group and your name. People might ask, like, "Oh, are you in real estate?" Or they might just ask you what it is. But pass out business cards. Anything else in your perfect week? Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. They should be. Try to look at your business plan and try to relate them to your business plan in the spokes of your business plan.
Send a personal email to 5 people with listings instead of just the automated junk they get all the time.
Right.
Send something personal.
All right. Send.
It's a fun conversation about instead of just these generic ones that we send out every 3:42 in the morning.
A lot of times I think we look at it like people don't want to work with us. I think more often than you would realize, people are thinking, I don't know that they want to work with me or that they want to go to work for me. a lot of them, I think they realize that what this stuff is, it's all automated. And if they think, the real estate agent really doesn't care about me, they're just letting these automated emails go out every day. What are they really doing for me? I think you have to put yourself out there and be making those calls and saying, hey, what about this property? You might even on Sync have seen that they looked at the property. That's why, like when you're calling people from Sync and you look at, let me go back over to it. You look at, you look at, where is this? Here's the search button. So if you click on just any client, let's say I wanted to call Mary Kate right now. I click on views, and she's looking at some nice properties. 200 Beacon Street, Boston, $18 million. Boom. Shit. If I wanted to give that person a call, I'd just be like, wanted to see if I saw a new property just hit the market, 200 Beacon Street. Is that something you're interested in taking a look at? Instead of making those calls being like, oh, you see anything you like yet? You see anything you like yet? See anything you like yet? That's not really saying that you're putting any effort into it. That's like, oh, hey, I'm waiting to take your order. You tell me what you want, you find the house, and then I'll write up the offer and make a commission. You're calling them with something. Call them with, hey, there's a property that just hit the market. Hey, there's some good properties in Holden. I know you really wanted to be in Paxton. What do you think about Holden? Just call them, ask questions, find opportunities. If you're not talking to them every week, then you're just giving someone else an opportunity to do what you're not. So
I've taken the mindset with everyone that I've talked to that they're my client until they tell me otherwise. And I just keep sending them stuff and calling them. It seems to be working.
Yeah. They
ignore me, but I just keep sending them stuff.
I don't know.
But 10% of them don't ignore me. They get back like 6 days later. Hey, I saw that one. 3 people after the new year called me and said, I'm ready now. So something's working there.
And what did you do before that?
Same thing. I'll send them, if I call them, I have something pulled up with a property on it.
Yep.
I'll leave a voicemail.
Yeah, even if you get
emails, but a personalized email. Something, hey, get the snow this morning. I also saw this property. That type of email.
right.
How do you need, the generic ones that you send out?
Yeah.
It seems to be working. It goes back to the buy or die theory.
Mm-hmm.
Until they tell you they're not buying.
Right. So we're going to shut off that new one, Nadine. But
I did.
the long-term drip campaign, we're going to leave in because if you're not doing anything, that's a good backstop. But if you're proactively trying to work with these people and actually working the leads, I think you should shut that off and make it more personal. Like one of the leads I just from the down east in the higher end markets that I'm looking at, I know that someone looking at $800,000 house is not going to want that stupid 6-month drip campaign. So I shut that off. You guys know how to shut that off, right?
Can you do mass action shutoffs and turn-offs for
I don't think you can.
Well, if you can, if you do, well, you would. If you're just if you're doing it through a label, like some of the drip campaigns have labels associated with them. So if you wanted to shut it off, you could just remove that label from everybody who has it. But the best way is just to do that.
Yeah, just go to subscriptions and shut it off. Make sure it's good to make sure there isn't something running anyways. So I disabled this one or somebody disabled this one on Charlotte.
As a side note, text campaign set up dummy accounts for me, and some of the text messages that came through weren't fully formatted, so they had like the programming, like the equal sign and less than and more than sign in them. So they weren't even like which words. They look at it, yeah. Exactly.
People have noticed that. Is there a way that we can see what automatic messages were sent and what I think that's what we were having trouble finding.
It's right under communications.
Yeah, so if you click on a lead and then
It'll be like a teardrop symbol.
right here, the notes and activity, if you just look at all the communications, click on these boxes. Yeah, you just click on all of them and you can see everything that ever went on with that lead. You'll see what they got, when they got it, what properties they've looked at.
I know some default right to that, others
Once you do it, they should automatically as you do it. Once in a while, for some reason, I think it's a glitch.
Yeah, if it's-
Oh, you can hit this little all button too. I thought you had to check each box, but you can hit there's a little all button right here. So you can click on Susan, and then it's set to, actually, I think I just set it to all by hitting that little all button. Yeah, so if you hit the reset button, this little reset button, you'll have to check the boxes, but if you hit, and it says all, and you hit it, it'll do all. But you should be looking at, there's two things that I see mistakes happening. If a new lead comes in and you're not looking at them and sending them a personal email, I think you're missing the boat. I also think if you're not checking their listing alert, you're missing the boat. It's going to automatically set them up with a listing alert, but a lot of times it's a weird amount. So let's see if I can find one like, let's see if I can find one I can look at here. So this one, if you click on the little magnifying lens, it's going to bring up what they're looking for. And you scroll down, you'll see it's in Worcester. They're looking in Worcester. And the price range, where's the price range? Where'd it go? So they didn't have a minimum maximum, which I don't know why, but you probably want to put some minimum maximum in there. But some of them, they're going to be really weird numbers in the minimum maximum. It'll be like 371, 128 to 414.98. There's some algorithm based on what they're looking at that sets that up automatically. You shouldn't be extending that to realistic expectations. You know what I mean? So someone that's looking, for instance, up to 440, I would bump it to 500 because let's say they all of a sudden decide, you know what, no, we want to buy it. We saw a really nice house we like at 500. If you didn't send it to them in a daily alert and someone else did, there's a chance that someone else just stole a deal from you because it wasn't an alert from you. It was an alert from somebody else. So I usually, in that first email, I say, welcome to the website. My goal is to help. I want to be a bother to you. And if you let me know more about what you're looking for in a home, I can arrange your listing alerts to make sure it's capturing what's most interest to you. And, that doesn't often work. The thing that you have to think about is sometimes people won't respond, and they won't respond for a while, but if they're still coming back to your website every day, that's a good thing. That tells me if they're not answering their calls, they're not answering your emails, but they're coming back every day, that to me is a not yet. It's not a no. It's a not now, not yet. They just don't, people don't feel like it's, 20 years ago, people probably felt like somebody calls me, I should respond. Somebody emails me, I should respond. Today's day and age, it's like no big deal to not respond to anybody to anything. People delete the voicemails. I mean, I'm sure you've gotten the sale calls too. Like they go on a voicemail on your phone, you're like, delete. Are you saying necessarily no? Not really. You're probably saying no, not right now. Some of it you're saying flat out no. Some of it you're thinking, I don't have the time or energy to even listen to another opportunity right now. And that's kind of like a not yet, but just don't think about it as an immediate no. All you care about is that people are coming back to your website consistently.
That's when they don't want it.
Yeah. I mean, and when you're looking at this in here and you're sorting it by either registration date or last login, you can just click on these and sort by whatever. But, you see someone, I don't know if you guys are talking to Randy L., but this guy's looked at 800 properties on your website. You guys?
It's a she,
Oh.
and we've shown her so many houses.
Oh, okay. She's looked at 800 online.
She's crazy.
She's got 155 favorites.
Guys, listen, Sean, Randy, we're talking about Randy. Like, I don't even know.
You guys know Randy?
Yeah, that's like a girl, I've known her forever. Oh yeah, we're ready. We've been taking her to see so many, and they don't like anything. They don't, it's like a hobby. No, she doesn't work. Yeah.
I like the filtering by last touch.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I didn't think about that.
Make sure that you stay in contact with them.
Do you do it by?
The reason I don't like it is if you have more than 100, it goes to a second page,
Yeah.
and then it only does it on that page. It's weird how it sorts it.
Yeah. No, that's a good way to do it.
Make sure you stay on top of it.
Right there, Russ?
But your last touch to them.
Oh,
whether it's a
If
bill or
you're
phone
using your reminders, you could sort it by reminders too. If you've set up reminders like, hey, I got to call this guy, like, you know, you could set it up that way as well.
call.
Just don't underestimate.
Log in all the time.
And why is this person all Susan calling?
Yeah, I don't know what to do to get her moving because she keeps doing these things like, oh, well, in the new year we're gonna be ready. We're gonna jump on something then we're totally ready. And then she started making crafts at home and told me she started a business. So she has to wait till she's done making her crafts with like some tool that like carves things, like she's making shirts. She's like, I just started a business. I need to wait.
maybe enough.
She is, yeah.
It's a 3-year payoff. That's how I look at it. There's some that are 3-month payoffs, and there's some that are 3-year payoffs. You know, the back burner them.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Like this lead, I'm just looking at it now and trying to figure out what she's doing.
Randy?
No, this other
Oh,
one,
okay.
Susan, who's an office incubating lead that has been on the website for 493 days. She hasn't really looked at any properties. She's got an alert, but then all of a sudden there was an automated message that went out. I don't know if it's automated or manual, Nadine, but you wish her a happy new year.
Yeah, I sent those out to everybody. That's
And-
the one that crazy lady wrote back and was like,
Was that Susan Gallant?
no.
Oh, okay.
It was a different crazy lady.
And then all of a sudden she logged in today at 10:54 p.m.
So it's good. That's why you send out those random emails to people who you think are dead, because now she's maybe interested
Now,
in it.
who knows? Now she's back on the website all of a sudden 493 days later.
So I was like, hey, happy New Year.
You know, it's crazy. Like,
So she canceled out the crazy lady.
like
who yelled at me.
Michelle. Let's look at
So wish her a
Michelle.
Happy New Year?
Oh, yeah. It was a whole big long conversation.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been. I mean,
What
man,
happened? She
Yeah, I need to hear this. Don't wish me a Happy New Year.
Yeah, literally, I sent to all the leads and just said, wishing you a happy holidays. I didn't
Yeah.
say Merry Christmas, just in case. Wishing you happy holidays and this super, happy whatever, happy New Year. And she wrote back and she said, take me off your mailing list. I'm not trying to buy a house, and even if I were there, a realtor. And I wrote back and I said,
Merry Christmas.
I apologize. I said, I really was just wishing you a happy New Year. She's like, if you don't remove me from your list, I'm going to post this all over your Facebook page.
Please do.
Yeah,
And
I
I
know.
And I
Nice. Keep
said,
it being
"Oh,
nice
listen."
and,
So I said, again, I apologize. Like, I've already, I said, I already did. We're all set. I'm sorry. I really was just wishing you a happy New Year. Like, you've been removed from my list. No worries. Thank you for letting me know. And I left it at that because I thought that was the end of it. And then I noticed just before I came back from vacation, I happened to look at my emails, and she had written back again and said, well, I don't know why you'd be sending me you don't even know me. Why would you send me an email saying Happy Christmas and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year? I'm like, this is way too much trouble over me saying, no, I just ignored it. And I deleted her, and I moved on, and she's out of my life, and it was in the old year, not in the new year. But it was like,
Oh, okay.
like I was
I
just
look at it and it's like, it's supposed to be hot. Oh,
yeah.
Well,
Were you doing multiples?
yeah. So you never know. I mean, here's another one. We're trying to incubate from an office that, this is prompting calls to be made. This Michelle girl was cold for quite a while. And then all of a sudden this morning, 7:39 a.m., looked at this property in Worcester on Longworth. So if someone all of a sudden hasn't been around for a while, hasn't been clicking on listen alerts, clicks on it, that's a call that needs to be made. Those are those trigger moments. You're like, all of a sudden, why are they back?
They're sitting on that phone, wasting 45 minutes later everyone else.
Right, exactly. So, all right. I'm going to stop the